Welcome to the Dawgs Table. Hosted by Craig Fountain and
Angelo.
Get access to special guests. Anyone can join the Dawgs Table. Find the link to join the show in the comments when we go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope, and everywhere on the BIGPLAY network.
Welcome to the Dawgs Table. I'm one of your hosts, Craig Fountain, here with Ryan Angelo. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm good, buddy. It is game week and all things in the world are right. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday. Real football is back. It's only a few days away. I can't wait, right? We've this has been one of the longest off seasons. I swear, one of the longest off seasons that I can remember. Just want to remind you guys before we get going, if this is your first time joining the show, we are a Cleveland Browns Roundtable discussion show. Anybody can join the show. Usually about halfway through, we put a link in the comments. Hey, D, thanks for joining. We put a link in the comments. You can click that link. You can join the show. If you don't want to join the show, you can comment on YouTube and Facebook and engage with us, just like D just did. We can display and interact with your comments, answer your questions. You can tell us how right we are. You can tell us that we're dog water. It's happened. Things like that. We are brought to you by BIGPLAY, Labatt Blue Light, and Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group. Congrats to BIGPLAY. By the way, they added a new show to their network featuring none other than Bernie Kosar and Hanford Dixon. Pretty cool. So, yeah, you can find us anywhere BIGPLAY is found. Tonight, we are going to be looking at the Carolina Panthers. It's Panthers week. And we're going on the road.
Baker's week. It's
Baker week. Right. The Baker Wars will never be over, I don't think, at this point. Although I did get some Panthers fans arguing with me today online over defensive backs, which was honestly refreshing. I welcomed it because it was a different flavor, so to speak. So, Ben, thanks for joining the show. Ben. We appreciate it. Do we got anybody else in the comments? Nope. We have D and Ben here with us. As far as comments go, you got to be on YouTube or Facebook. Twitter does not allow us to display them. We try to keep an eye on Twitter in case somebody's commenting on our tweeted out video. But that requires us to have some attention to detail. We're already multitasking. Yeah. Ben says he loves Bake, but not this week. And listen, that's the theme for most of the people I know. A lot of people wish him well, even if they welcomed his exit in Cleveland. But this is Browns week. I've seen a lot of, I don't know how real it is. A lot of people have been saying, like, you're not a Browns fan if, you're rooting for Baker over the Browns this week. Like, are people really doing that?
Yeah, there's a small subsection that are doing it just because of the controversy with Deshaun.
Like in protest?
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Hey, to each their own, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're not here to tell anybody how to fam. I didn't realize that was a big thing, though. Like, I just assumed everybody was kind of like, all right, It's Browns week. Let's go kick his ass, and then we can root for him next week if we want to do that, or we don't have to. But I guess not. All right, so the depth chart was released this week, unofficial depth chart. Actually earlier today, I think. So we got some confirmation on things. No real surprises.
Yep.
The biggest, I think the biggest thing to note is when you're looking at the unofficial depth chart that Cleveland released. Demetric Felton earned a spot on this team via special teams, and he is also listed as a wide receiver, not a running back. D. I liked him in orange and brown. He's dead to me now.
If he dies, he dies.
Ben is asking over or under on sacks at 6.5. I'm going to take the under. I hope it's 6.5 or more. But yeah, so we have Demetric Felton. He is one of 6 wide receivers on the unofficial depth chart. We have new Cleveland Browns, Jesse James at tight ends. I don't know if this is intentional. Actually, no, I see him too. They have tight end on here twice. I was going to say, I thought Harrison Bryant was left off, but it's David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, and Jesse James. Jesse James is a new tight end we picked up this week. He formerly spent time with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions, I believe. We saw him quite a bit when he was in Pittsburgh. He's a big boy. He's going to block. He could be a red zone threat. I don't know about a game changer, but we knew that we had to add a third tight end. There was no way we were going into the season with 2 tight ends. So happy to see that. Craig, thanks for joining the show. Ben says, I didn't mean just Miles. I wish I could still take the over on that. I'm still going to have to take the under. Any update on the Miles family situation? Not that I'm aware of. He's had more excused absences from what I understand. We can only assume that that's what that has to do with. So, but no update that I'm aware of. So in wide receiver, we have Amari Cooper. We have Donovan Peoples-Jones. We have David Bell, Anthony Schwartz, Michael Woods, this second, and Demetric Felton. I don't think there's any surprises there. I expected to see Demetric Felton as a kick returner, punt returner. I guess wide receiver is a logical spot to list him at. And our offensive line, the only question mark was at center. So we have Ethan Posick at center. Michael Dunn is the backup center. Yep. No surprises there. Jack Conklin should be ready to go for week 1. That's important. On defense, I don't know that we really had any surprises on defense.
No.
Winovich is on here. He's ahead of Isaiah Thomas. Jordan Elliott and Taven Bryan fill those interior defensive line spots. That's kind of as expected. We've been calling that all along. Chris, is he any better right now than the other tight ends we could have had on the roster? If so, in what way? I mean, are you referring to like Forrestall, or
someone like
are you looking at like somebody on the open market, a free agent, trade target, something like that? I mean, Jesse James has been a decent role player for both.
He's serviceable.
And yeah, he's serviceable. He's big. He kind of fits. And I think the Browns were looking forward at this on a roster now.
No.
I mean, there's a reason they decided to go with him instead of Forrestall. I thought it was going to be Forrestall, personally, until they made this move. But when they chopped us down to 2 tight ends during roster cuts, it's like, all right, they've got their eyes on somebody. So, and it took a couple days to get them done. Reports came out, a day or two before Jesse James actually signed that they were talking with him. Stretch projection. Browns defense scores more than Carolina. I also wish that I could get on that train. And it's tough because, when we do this and we create content and we do these shows, we have to kind of take our fan hat off, and I get jealous sometimes because that's
Yep.
the energy I want to be bringing. We kind of have to put the analyst hat on, and I admire the optimism. I'm jealous. There's a lot of fun things about doing shows like this, Ryan, but taking the fan hat off
Yeah.
sucks sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough.
So John Johnson, D'Anthony Bell, Richard LeCount at free safety, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Harrison at strong safety. We have Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward is cornerbacks 1 and 2. And then you have Greedy and Martin Emerson, and then AJ Green. The linebacker room is Sione Takitaki, Anthony Walker Jr., Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Tony Fields the second, and Jacob Phillips. Nice to see Tony Fields on the depth chart. Again, we haven't cut. What's that?
I was gonna say, you could argue that D'Anthony Bell ahead of Richard LeCount's kind of a surprise.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled. They must have really liked what they've seen from him in training camp and practice.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I would not have predicted that.
Yeah. I mean, an undrafted free agent ahead of a draft pick on your team, that's pretty rare, I would say.
Tony Fields, I hope he's going to be good. This was somebody that we took certainly to develop.
Tony's been good on special teams too, and I think that's how he's earning his spot right now.
Bell is such a cool story. You got to love a good story. Perion Winfrey is behind Taven Bryan along with Tommy Togiai.
God.
And that kind of wraps up the defense. So, and then, of course, you have Demetric Felton Jr. for kick returns and punt returns.
Yep.
To me, the weak spots on this roster are still interior defensive line and wide receiver.
Yep.
And I've had 1,000 people, maybe literally, try to change my mind, and my mind has not been changed. Yep. Scream it from the rooftops, Craig. So interesting point that I read today. I didn't fact check it. I was taking a break from whatever I was doing, scrolling Twitter. Somebody brought up the fact, maybe it was Jack Duffin. Somebody on Brown's Twitter brought up the fact that after week 1 or after a certain day this week, maybe it's after Thursday because that's when the first football game is. If somebody signs after that date, their guarantees aren't there, right? They're not guaranteed contracts if you cut them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's got some sort of implication to where, whoever this was, I think that's who it was, but whoever it was saying, don't be surprised to see some of these guys sign where teams were maybe a little hesitant to guarantee contracts. And Grant Delpit's coming out show.
Whew, I hope so.
Same. All right. I'm going to check Twitter real quick just to see if anybody is commenting or anything like that. Because I don't want to miss anybody. Again, if you're on Twitter and you've just joined the show on YouTube and Facebook, you can comment. We can see it here in the studio. But we won't necessarily see it if it's on Twitter. All right. So we're headed to Carolina on the road. Carolina's favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield's never won a season opener. The Browns really haven't won a season opener. We've got one in 23 years, and we tied another. The last win came in 2004. We talk about it every year. The Panthers are, depending on where you look, 1.5 point, 2.5 point favorites. It's on the road. Listen, I don't know. What's that?
I think they should be favorites.
All right. Explain. Let's hear it out.
Just for the things that you've already, talked about. Baker, the Browns have a backup quarterback. They haven't won an opener since the inception of their football team, essentially. And I think there's a lot of unknowns on the Browns team right now. So I personally expect Carolina at home to come out pretty crisp on offense. I think they have a pretty decent offense. It's going to kind of depend on whether their offensive line can handle our defensive line, but I- we'll see. But I predict, it's going to be a tough game. I could see a 2-point favorite for the home team on first game of the season when the Browns have so many question marks.
Yeah, and really, when it's just a couple points that they give them, a lot of times that's because they're the home team, which is fine.
Yeah.
But really, home field advantage aside, there's not a whole lot of reason to really, put that line anywhere else. Gives us more firepower to give us more motivation to beat them, in my opinion, as us being the underdog. 24-21, Cade York pulls out the win. D says, I predict a close game. I do predict a close game, and I also think it's going to be a low-scoring game. And I already have my prediction. I will give it a little bit later in the show. But in an ugly game. It's possible that this is an ugly game for both teams, really. Let's talk what we're going to look for and what the keys of the game are first before we really get into predictions. All right, let's not jump the gun on predictions. Carolina's got Baker Mayfield. Everybody knows that. Their wide receiver core is probably more talented than ours. They got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They have Hollywood Higgins, Laviska Shenault. And I'm missing a big one. Terrace Marshall. Who's their 3?
Yeah.
Is that their 3rd? But I think that they have the overall more talented wide receiver core. Of course, we have Amari Cooper. We just kind of went over the depth chart. There's really, if CMC is healthy, then we're pretty evenly matched in the run game, minus the fact that we have a 1-2 punch, and McCaffrey's just going to kind of be the jack of all trades guy. It's going to be interesting to see what the offense looks like in Carolina, right? Because Ben McAdoo, he's spent time with Dallas. He spent time with Jacksonville, but before that, he was with Eli Manning in New York. He was with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Guys that have a little bit of a different style of play to scheme around than Baker Mayfield. So it's going to be interesting to see. Then again, Ben McAdoo, he had some experience with Dak Prescott in Dallas, and he also made Gardner Minshew palatable in Jacksonville in 2020. Right. So that's about, it's a mystery. And for everybody that's saying like, oh, nobody knows Baker better than Joe Woods. Well, nobody knows Joe Woods better than Baker Mayfield, in my opinion. I mean, if you want to go down that road,
well, it goes both ways for sure.
I think that's an overblown factor. We don't know what the new Baker Mayfield game is going to look like. Now, that was a long, trailing explanation, for my thought about CMC, because I think that they're going to play the short and intermediate game with CMC. There's going to be dump offs. Robbie Anderson can stretch the field. DJ Moore got that big play ability. He's their volume guy too. So, but CMC is dangerous. And one of the keys to this game is going to be stopping CMC. Look for Laviska Shenault to get those run packages. Look for, but again, if this game ends up being a grind in the running game, we have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And historically, we've been able to keep them both, to a point where they're not both trying to catch their breath. Rookie LT mandates double team on Miles all day, opens up the defensive tackles and Clowney to run wild. JOK will be the wild card. I agree. Clowney could have a big game here. I'm nervous about our interior defensive line. You can open them up, but that I think that there's going to be an opportunity for Christian McCaffrey to really make us pay up the middle. And, he's not a bruiser, right? So if he can get to the second level, that's a big problem. JOK on CMC, that's what we need, right? The speed, the aggressiveness of JOK on CMC.
The Panthers are going to do whatever they can to limit the Browns' ability to rush. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's going to be a lot of quick stuff. And honestly, that's what they probably excel the best at, is the short to intermediate route game. But Baker, it could be argued that Baker's probably best at getting the ball out quicker as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to combat the pass rush. My key to the game actually is to see if we can actually stop the run. If the Browns can make them one-dimensional, I think it bodes better for them. But if CMC is breaking longer runs or getting 5 to 6 yards per touch, that makes things significantly difficult for the Browns, because then you start crowding the line of scrimmage, you try to put more people in the box, and that opens up their pass game a little bit more. And make no mistake about it, this team's going to rally around Baker. He's going to come out motivated. He's going to probably play his best game of the season, and I anticipate him having a good game. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's the NFL. Nobody lays down a dice for you anyway. So they do have some motivation on that side of the field.
Yeah. Hey, Skylar, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Skylar's a
buddy?
contributor on dawgstable.com. So we match up well against our wide receivers on defense. I like that we have Ward and Newsome on DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. I'm struggling with names tonight. I don't know what my deal is.
It's all good. Me too.
But yeah, so we match up well there. The interior defensive line, certainly that's what I'm worried about. Here's going to be the problem. The defense has to come out strong. They have to frustrate Baker. They have to get his confidence down. We're going to move over to the offensive side of the Browns in a second, as we kind of look at what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not equipped to play from behind at all. A touchdown, fine. 10 points, maybe. If we're chasing more than 10 points, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. We're just not equipped to do it. Skylar, we went over the unofficial depth chart, some of the confirmations we got, a couple surprises. We got Felton listed at wide receiver. He's taken special teams duties, a couple other things, and now we're kind of going through keys to the game. Again, getting back on my train of thought, like, if we're chasing more than 10 points, we're just not equipped to do that. If the Browns defense doesn't come out and get a hot start, and Baker starts having one of those games where he's 8 of 9 for 75 yards and a touchdown, and we give him that confidence and allow that to we know better than anybody, love or hate the guy, even if you hate his personality, when he gets that confidence and that arrogance, and he feels that he knows he can just gash you. I mean, he'll do it.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over and over again. One of the problems we have is, when he gets frustrated, and that's what we need to do. We need to frustrate him. So my keys to the game is kind of, limiting the Panthers from, the defense has to get the fast start. That, or we need to get ahead and play like we're ahead, which means volume to the running backs. And that's something that we haven't always seen. What are your offensive keys to the game? Let's switch over to offense.
The run game. I have to see the offensive line consistently block and create momentum in the run game. Ideally, you want to, beat down this defensive line, make it a low-scoring game, run the clock with the run game. So, I mean, definitely on the offensive side of the ball is, can they get the run game going? That's essentially going to be the Browns' MO until Deshaun gets back and they can open up the playbook even further. But they're going to throw the ball a little bit, but I anticipate a heavy run game, a lot of use of the tight ends. But this Panthers defense isn't terrible. They've got, Brian Burns, they've got Yetur Gross-Matos, they've got Derek Brown. They picked up Matthew Ioannidis. They still have Shaq Thompson at linebacker, JC
Horn's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Dante Jackson's no slouch. Xavier Woods, Jeremy Chin. I mean, so they got guys on that defense. I mean, this isn't, let's make no mistake about it. This isn't a poor, New York Jets team or something like that. This is a team that's got legitimate talent on that defense. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Browns. It really isn't. This game has been something that I've been particularly nervous about. I don't see either team blowing each other out, but it's definitely a losable game if they don't come out and play crisp football. I said basketball.
Yeah, this is why this is essentially a pick'em game. The over under is only 41.5 last time I checked. That's pretty low for an NFL game.
Yeah.
The implied score based on odds in Vegas, if you're not a bettor, it's 41.5. That's implying essentially like a 21-20 game. Carolina on top. That's the prediction that I gave on a podcast last night. I went on with Brad Ward and made that prediction, and then we got into the line. So I think I was kind of on the money. And there's my prediction, 21-20. I kind of let that out of the bag on accident a little bit early. So 21-20 Panthers is my prediction. Listen, the curse is real. We're on the road.
Yeah.
I hope to God I'm wrong.
You don't want to hear my prediction.
Oh boy, here we go. All right.
Browns fans aren't gonna like it, but
hide your kids, hide your wife. Ryan, what's your prediction?
I actually have 28-14 Panthers.
28-14 Panthers. You think it's going to be that big of a deficit for Cleveland?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for them to move the ball in the air, and it's going to make them one-dimensional, and I think it's going to slow things down a little bit. I could see some early success, but I think as the game progresses, it's going to make things a little bit more difficult for them, just because one-dimensional football doesn't work in the NFL anymore. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So that's just where I'm at with it.
Are you officially souring on Brissett?
No, not at all. I just think that this game is set up perfectly for the Browns to struggle. Just everything has aligned that way. And I don't consider myself a pessimist. I think I'm a realist, and I think realistically the Browns may drop this game. Now, don't get me wrong. I hope that I'm wrong, and I come back here next Tuesday and everybody pokes fun at me and says, "Listen, you should have trusted the Browns. You should have put your faith in them." And I will take all that crow and eat it with a spoon. But that's just what I'm feeling.
It's okay, because I'm already seeing the guys that are taking the complete opposite stance, that we're going to go in there and we're going to completely whoop their ass. I think they're getting nervous because I'm seeing stuff on Twitter today. Oh, let's just remember that this game doesn't settle like who won the trade, or, this doesn't decide if we made the right move with Baker or not. They're going to say, this doesn't mean anything for Brissett. Let's not get ahead of ourselves if it doesn't go our way. They're already kind of insulating themselves from these bold predictions. They've been essentially just spamming all over the place. Right. And on the same token, again, looking at this realistically, I just feel like this is going to be an uphill battle. I'm obviously not going to take some sort of victory lap if I'm wrong, because I want to be wrong. Right. I want all of this to be false. Ryan, I hope you are wrong.
For sure.
I am wrong. And don't get it twisted. Nobody's rooting for Carolina over here. Nobody's rooting for Baker. We're rooting for the Browns. You're stuck with us. We're being miserable with you. But give us your predictions in the comments. Let us know what you think it's going to be. I want some of you guys watching to actually throw your predictions out there.
It's tough
see what
because,
happens.
you want to be overly optimistic, but, the fact of the matter is the Browns just are not coming off of a consistently awesome looking season, and they've got a lot of changes. They've done a lot of different things. They're on a backup quarterback. The defense was kind of up and down last year till like second half of the season. You don't know how consistent they're going to be, or if they're going to come out firing on all cylinders right away. So I mean, there's just a lot there that makes you nervous. I actually think Baker probably fits pretty decent in Carolina's offense. It just depends on how well he's going to gel with that receiving room, with the timing's going to be like between him and the receivers. So, if he comes out and they're crisp, I mean, it could make things difficult for the Browns. But I mean, the Browns have a really good defense. So if the Browns defense shows up and does what they're, you know, capable of doing, then, it could be a completely different ball game. But I don't think the Browns are going to pass all the way up and down the field in this game. I just don't see it. So I think the Browns passing game is going to struggle a little bit.
So you're
Until I
saying
see otherwise.
28-14 Panthers. So tell me, do you think the problem is we're going to be playing from behind? Do you think it's going to be a complete just deficiency of offense in general? Is it our run game, the passing game? I mean, break this down.
I could see us playing from behind early, a touchdown, maybe 10 points, but I also can see Stefanski trying to get not too cute. I'm trying to think of I think he's going to try to force the pass more than he should. And I think the offense is just not going to look crisp this game. I think it's going to take some time for them to gel, because, I'm sure he would love to run the ball every down, but he can't. So I just think that they're going to struggle passing the game. And I think because of that, we struggle a little bit. It's not going to be as explosive as what it could be.
All right. So one of the other things that I want to do, I kind of want to get a feel for based on our positions. Let's go through some. Bear with me. I'm multitasking here while I pull them up.
Don't get me wrong, man. I hope I'm wrong for sure.
So you're taking the over and you're taking the Panthers. All right. Rushing yards.
Yeah, I'm barely
Nick
on the
Chubb.
over, right?
What's that?
I'm barely on the over. What's the over? 41?
41.5.
Yeah, so I'm like over by a half point, right?
Yeah.
42? Yeah.
Rushing yards for Nick Chubb, over or under 73.5? Feel free to play along in the comments.
I could see over on.
So Nick Chubb, you're taking over 73.5 yards.
Yeah, I'd go over on that.
Okay. NFL. I'm really struggling to get this website to cooperate with me. Go figure, because I'm on the air. Amari Cooper, over or under 48 receiving yards?
48's low.
That says something, though, right?
God, that's low. Over. It's got to be over. That's
what's going on?
Really low. I mean, you could have 2 20-yard catches and have, it's got to be over.
So we have Hookers and Blow Barry on the line. You can't see him, but he's here with us. How's it going, Barry?
I'm getting jacked in and juicy, baby. You know what they say, breakup's great bodybuilders.
Oh, jeez.
back to snorting lines and banging knots.
All right. Bud.
So Barry's back. The entertainment is here, fellas, and ladies. I know we have some ladies here.
Yeah,
all right. So
ladies.
Barry, first of all, what's your prediction this week for score?
I'm thinking at least a 30 rack. I don't know. How much you plan on drinking?
Okay. All right. So the over-under is a 30 rack.
I think the over-under is 30, honestly, truthfully. Baker's going to come out. He's going to try to ball out. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to throw 3 picks. They're going to score a touchdown, maybe 10 points. We're going to beat them 17-10.
Okay.
All right.
Bank on it. You heard it here first, all right?
17. Got it.
I got a friend that lives in Vegas and works for the MGM, and he kind of let me in. You know it's all picks, right?
All right. Here we go.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. So, Nick Chubb. Let's see.
Who did Amari?
We did Amari. Let's look at Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, boy.
Passing yards over or under 204.5?
Under.
Yeah, he's 14-19 for $180.
Yeah.
Very specific today. D says, totally expected Barry to say hello, ladies, as Val Venus from WWE.
Hello, ladies.
Craig Foster says, bench 280 pounds, Barry.
The dude was he was so awesome.
What'd you say?
Craig Foster's telling you to bench 280 pounds.
I don't know, man. Like, that's been a minute. I'd probably do 225, but I don't know about 280. The old man, I got old man shoulders nowadays. You know, back in
my shoulders would fall apart.
D just said that made her night. I don't know if you can see us right now.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
All right. So over under 204.5 yards.
I went under.
You went under?
Yeah.
I'm going to go under. Passing touchdowns over under 1.5.
1.
Vegas thinks he's going to throw the ball.
I hate that. 1.5. How do you get a half touchdown?
Because he can't throw 1.5, so he has to throw 1 or 2.
You can't throw 1.5, so you either get it at 1 or you get it at 2.
Basically, do you think he's going to throw more than 1? Basically what they're asking you.
Vegas thinks he's going to throw the ball 29 or 30 times. I think that actually might be high.
That's really high.
That's it. That's pretty high, yeah. 30 throws? Yeah.
Well, it all depends on if Baker comes out hot.
Longest pass completion. All right, here's a fun one, Ryan. Longest pass completion over or under 33.5?
Under.
Over.
Oh, we got a big play.
Yeah. Probably some screen. It's probably some screen at Chubb or something like that. You have to forget he's not going to throw it 33 yards in the air. It could be.
I think the Panthers defense keeps everything in front of them in this game.
D says I always bet on Chubb because he's the only man who never disappoints me. D hasn't met Barry yet. But all right. So my nature is, listen, I feel uncomfortable even picking Browns games as a Browns fan. My theory, if you are sports betting, my theory is you got to watch out for betting on your own team or betting against your least favorite team because emotion gets in the way of logic. All right. Here's an interesting prop. Because, the narrative that Jacoby Brissett's a dual threat quarterback has been running rampant for months. What's the over-under on rushing yards? 8.5 yards is the prop.
I could get over that.
I'm going to take the over too.
And that's pretty low.
I'm just throwing a shot here because some people can't be convinced.
I mean, somebody can scramble on a broken play and get 10 yards at least. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
All right. Let's
you don't have to be a all-pro runner to do that.
Let's do one more. Who should we do? Should we do Njoku?
Sure.
All right, let's do David Njoku. Oh, not good. All right. Receiving yards over or under 31.5?
Over.
Christ.
Over.
I could see over because
I'm going to take the over because I think that the Browns are really going to work the tight ends in this game.
Yeah.
I'm not super confident that I think Amari Cooper is going to get locked up. I'm not saying his route running's not elite because it is. I think he's going to get locked up, and I'm not real confident in anything south of Donovan Peoples-Jones on the depth chart, with the exception of David Bell getting a little bit of short to intermediate volume.
I could see Amari ending the game with like 50, 60 yards on like 4 or 5 catches.
There's no props on David Bell for this game, so
Yeah.
I don't know. D's taking the over.
I feel like I'm being a horrible negative Nancy.
I do too. Like I as excited as I am for this game, like I was so excited. I feel like we're just sitting here completely shitting on the Browns.
Well, here's the
and
thing,
that's
though,
not our intention at all.
I feel like if I'm overly positive about everything, I feel like it's a disservice to our viewers and our listeners, right? Like, I feel like we owe it to them to be realistic in how we handle these things and these topics. So, like, if it was me, I just try to think of myself listening to a Browns podcast. I don't want to hear like sunshine and rainbows constantly. Like, the Browns are going to destroy everybody every game, like, because a logical fan should understand that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. I just look at it as the way I would want to hear it. So I try to be as honest in my opinions as possible, I guess.
I'm with you. And that's the point, right? Like,
Yep.
You know, there's certain people that, you know, they create content and stuff like that, and it's eternal optimism. Those are the Nathan Zaguras, right? Big or small. His job was basically to amp you up as a fan every single day on Browns Daily, and, you know, have you running in there charging with your pitchforks, like, you know, ready to go to battle with anybody and everybody. I would like to think we're somewhere in the middle, in between Nathan Zagura and Tony Grossi. Like, I don't think we're quite that pessimistic. I think we're losing Ryan.
I'm still here.
Barry's still here.
I'm still here.
All right. I'm going to put the link in the comments for anybody else that wants to come in and talk. We'll get some questions, some comments.
According to this questionnaire I just took on the internet, it says I'm a candidate because I have testosterone deficiency.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
It says I have testosterone deficiency.
Tony Grossi.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Comment, or the link should be in the comments. It's a StreamYard link. If you click that, it's real easy to join. You can come chat with us.
Honestly, it's probably not in the comments because it always gets buried deep and then I can't find it and Craig has to text it to me.
Right, but like I just posted it. Like it should be right there as long as nobody else comments.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Where'd you go?
I didn't go anywhere. You guys were all froze for me. I was sitting here going, hello, 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 hello.
I can't hear anybody.
I was muted.
Oh.
All right.
I don't know.
Links in the comments. Ryan's freezing up again. Join the show.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I'm not frozen on my side. It's like you keep freezing and disappearing on me.
I keep hearing Craig go, but I quit losing Ryan. So I think it's on your end, Ryan.
What the hell?
That's what I said.
My, how the turns have tabled.
Right?
The tables have turned.
Well,
that was an
Office
reference.
Is perfect, but up in the corner of StreamYard it says that the connection is unstable. So I think it's a StreamYard issue, personally.
Could be. I've been on the receiving end of that many times. Barry, any fun plans to watch the season opener?
I don't know. You tell me. I texted you earlier about it.
Yeah, I know. Ryan, can you hear us? All right. What are you guys in the comments doing? What are you guys doing for the season opener? Are you going to the game, going to your favorite bar, your favorite Browns backers club, watching in your living room?
Hey, you know what I think we should do?
Huh?
We should go to the titty bar.
Oh, my Lord.
Think about it.
You think they have the game on there?
Well, I don't know, but there might be somebody there with a Browns tattoo.
I think we lost Ryan again. All right.
Enter.
Well, I don't think we have anybody jumping onto the show, so we're gonna get Ryan back. Barry, we do have somebody coming in. There
Hey,
he
that's
is.
Ryan.
Hi.
He's back.
D says, sitting in my living room in my Chubb jersey and Browns jeans, screaming at my TV. Ryan, you going to the game? Sit in your fancy seats?
It's an away game, bud.
Oh, son of a bitch. You're right. Where are you watching the game from?
My couch.
Your couch? All right. Not anymore, you're not. You're meeting up with me and Barry somewhere.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's go. We're gonna have it out in the campground.
D's in our living room. Justin, can you hear us? Can't hear Justin either.
Mm-mm.
I think we're having some technical difficulties on. There's
I'm telling you.
Justin.
It's
Can you hear me?
stream. It's
I can hear you now. What's going on, buddy?
No, I just got home. Let me turn this
All
mic
right.
off because I'm going to stick the phone in my pocket. You guys don't want to look at my ass.
All right. Give us your week 1 Browns Panther predictions, Justin.
And he's gone.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
There he is. We can hear you now.
All right, so you guys.
Quit doing whatever.
Okay, so you guys you're going to have to look at my ass through my jeans.
ooh, I like
Can
it.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying.
That's one black ass.
He's gone.
He's
He's
gone.
gone.
All right. I think we may have to call it a night due to technical difficulties.
What's going on?
What's that?
I don't understand what's going on.
I don't either. Do you have anything else you want to bring to the table, Ryan, before we bow out tonight?
No, just keep a level head, Browns fans. No matter what happens in this game, it's only the first game of the season. We got a long season ahead of us, so
That's
that's all I got. Yep.
All right, let's give Justin one more try. Are you there, Justin?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's give this one more try. Let's see if you can give us your prediction for this game.
So I think Chubb's going to go for about 125 yards, rushing and receiving.
Okay.
Cooper, I would take the under on Cooper. What was that? 30-something?
48, I think. And Njoku was 33.
I'll still take the under on Cooper. Njoku, that might be a push. Final score, I think Baker's going to pull it out in a revenge game.
All
What's your
right.
score prediction?
17-9.
17-9.
Interesting. 3 field goals. Browns still
That's
even
a-
score?
Cade York season.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can get a touchdown without, and they'll go for 2 and not get it, and then a field goal.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. That is true. Or a touchdown and a safety.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, thanks for joining the show. We appreciate it. We are going to be closing out the show now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a StreamYard issue, to be honest. with you, 'cause-
StreamYard's like, you guys are supposed to only be going live for an hour. In the past 3 weeks, you've done 2.
Yeah, so we're cutting you.
Right. But we appreciate you guys, as always, joining the show. We are the Dawgs Table, Cleveland Browns Roundtable discussion show. We are brought to you by Big Play, Labatt Blue Light, and Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group. And hopefully we will be back to recap a Browns win in Carolina. That's the goal. We will be rooting along with you for the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
Absolutely. I'm so hyped to finally watch real Browns football.
Yes. Yes.
We'll be back next week to go over the game with you. And Ryan, any closing words?
Nope. Just get ready for probably a long episode next week, guys. Bear with us with the technical stuff. Sorry about that. And go Browns as always, guys.
All right. That's it for today. Until next time, go Browns.
Go Browns.